Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Trick Wallace and this is another great eShop deals video. Now if you were looking for the super bargain games, there is a separate $5 and under video, but this is going to deal with the opposite end of the pricing spectrum and make our way above that $5 pricing point. Let's go ahead and jump in and check out some of these really impressive options this week. First of all, we have Undermine, which is hitting 50% off, bringing it down to only $9.99. I'm going to be really forthright and say that this is easily a top 10 roguelike for me. I absolutely adore Undermine. The concept is simple. You are being thrown as one of many random denizens of your society. You're thrown into this mine and you are looking for this secret treasure that is buried all the way at the bottom. You're going to be making your way level by level. There's all kinds of loot to discover, cool weapons, cool spells, all kinds of fun, non-stop surprises. The combat is a simple hack and slash with the added ability to throw your pickaxe like a boomerang. It is simple but really addictive. But really simply, this is just a really refined roguelike. It just hits all the points that you want in a great one. You've got the great permanent upgrades. Again, all kinds of weird little unique surprises that make you wonder what you're going to see on every subsequent run. Great boss fights, great enemies to deal with. I just can't recommend this one enough. Tales of Iron is back on sale for 65% off, bringing it down to $8.74. This was my favorite eShop game of 2021. Very simply, it is a side-scrolling Souls-like game about a rat kingdom that is trying to repel this invading evil toad horde. It really has an amazing visual presentation with a really well done narration done by the same voice actor who voices Geralt from The Witcher. It's a game that feels surprisingly epic considering it's simply a game about rats defending their kingdom. But never fear, if you are scared off by that Souls-like label, it does have difficulty options that can really bring it down to more of a simple adventure for you if you are, again, scared off by that higher difficulty. Lost in Play is hitting its lowest price ever, 50% off, bringing it down to $9.99. This is an absolutely drop-dead gorgeous point-and-click adventure. You can see for yourself, it's got an art style that looks just like it could come out of something like Cartoon Network or Disney Plus or whatever. But the humor really comes alive in this one. I am a really big fan of the fact that there is no actual written dialogue. So it's kind of nice that it can appeal to anyone who speaks any language. I'm really not even a big point-and-click adventure fan, but I really enjoyed this one. I think it's just modernized enough that allows me to enjoy this type of genre without the baggage of some of the old quirks from the older style titles. Let's Build a Zoo is hitting its lowest price ever, 45% off, bringing it down to only $10.99. One of my favorite old PC games was the old Microsoft Zoo, where you got to build your own zoo. I'm not really into those simulation games, but for some reason, zoos just kind of have a special place in my heart, partially because I used to work one for about 5 years. So I'm really interested in possibly trying this one out. It's what you typically would expect from a zoo-like sim. What's kind of unique with this one is not only do you have about 500 different animals at your disposal, you can also do DNA splicing apparently and create about 300,000 different combinations. So you could have what they describe as a giraffe-elephant or a panda owl and all kinds of other crazy things that you can make for your zoo. Really pleasing art style. I do enjoy zoo simulation, so who knows? I might actually pick this one up, and I think if you're a fan of simulation, it's well reviewed and you should consider it. Scourgebringer is hitting its lowest price ever, finally, for 50% off for $8.49. This one has gone on sale fairly frequently. One of my absolute favorite 2D hack and slash roguelikes. I'm so glad it finally dipped down a little bit cheaper than it has been. I can't think of another roguelike that really makes me feel as powerful as this one. This is just one of those games where as you gain more and more abilities, you just really start literally smashing your way into enemies. There's so many cool abilities that will allow you to basically warp over to an enemy and then smash them into the ground and just shred them to bits. So if you like games that really engage with that sort of power fantasy, I think that this one is one that you should definitely consider picking up. Now, if you want a totally opposite style of game, you could pick up Alba, a wildlife adventure. It is also hitting its lowest price ever, 55% off for only $8.99. Now this game is about Alba as she visits her grandparents on a Mediterranean island. Basically, it's a game about exploring the island and taking photography of animals and sorting out little quests for other islanders. It's super simple, relaxing stuff, well reviewed. Definitely, if you're looking for a very chill game, this would be a good pickup. Now, we've seen a lot of new aggressive deals from Team 17 during the sale. A lot of new lowest prices. I decided I want to go and point out they have a lot of new deluxe editions of some of their past games. Basically, these deluxe editions include the original game with all of the subsequent DLC. So we'll go and kind of go through these somewhat quickly. First of all, we have Golf with Your Friends, the deluxe edition. Again, this includes all the previous DLC. This is 70% off, bringing it down to $8.99. This is an up to 12-player online competitive mini golf game. Looks like a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed the footage I've seen of it. Haven't got to try it yet, but I'm pretty darn tempted on this sale. Moving Out, the deluxe edition. This includes Moving Out and its subsequent DLC for 75% off for $8.24. Moving Out is by far one of my top favorite sort of crazy couch co-op games. I know a lot of people lean towards Overcooked, but for me, Moving Out is a really much higher one on the list. I always think the concept is a lot more simple. You and your comrades are going to be making your way through a house, and you got to pick up stuff and move it to the delivery truck. Obviously, it's not always as simple as that. Sometimes you have to get around certain obstacles and whatnot, but I just think the concept is simpler enough that it's easy for newbies to get into. Neon Abyss Deluxe Edition is hitting its lowest price ever, 65% off, bringing it down to $9.79. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know by now that Neon Abyss is pretty much my favorite twin-stick, side-scrolling roguelike. Really addictive roguelike upgrades, just crazy the amount of weaponry you can have on screen at once. And like I said, this includes all the DLC, which has about 3 packs, including multiple new characters exclusive to those DLCs. If you've done everything there is to do in Animal Crossing, then maybe you'll want to consider picking up My Time at Portia Deluxe Edition. This is more or less something like Animal Crossing, but also mixed with some dungeon exploring and combat. I will say that the only DLC this one includes is the Housewarming gift set, which has a few items that you can personalize the game with a bit more. So this one's not quite as aggressive as far as the DLC that gets added, but it is the lowest price ever for this deluxe edition. The Escapists 2 Game of the Year Edition, which is basically a deluxe edition also, that is 75% off, bringing it down to $6.74. This one actually has a ton of DLC packs. The Escapists is all about unique ways of learning how you and a team can escape different jails. All kinds of different scenarios, all kinds of different strategies you can employ. Again, you can play this by yourself or up to 4-player, and it's got drop-in, drop-out co-op. Real super convenient for that. From the exact same developer, we have the Survivalists Deluxe Edition. This employs a real similar art style from the Escapists, but instead, this is a survival game where you are crashed on an island, and you are going to employ the aid of all kinds of monkeys, and you're going to be building up your own home base, going on adventures, battling with pirates and islanders, all kinds of crazy adventures you're going to find your way through on this one. This one also, though, it really just has one additional DLC pack, which is the Monkey Business Pack. And this more or less is just simply including some cosmetic items that you can dress yourself and your monkeys up with. Team 17, like I said, they've got a lot of new lowest prices on their games, and one of them is the Serpent Rogue. It is hitting 60% off for only $7.99, by far its lowest price ever. If you like craft-intensive games and big open-world RPG games, you're going to really enjoy this one. Do be forewarned, this can be a pretty darn challenging game. Some of the Twitch combat is pretty difficult, and it will definitely test your patience, but if you got the patience for it, it should be a pretty darn rewarding experience. 2D and Topty is matching its previous low, bringing it down to 60% off for $7.99. This is a co-op platformer, which has a really unique mechanic where you can change the environment to be a 3D or a 2D environment. So when it's 2D, it's a 2D platformer. When it's quote-unquote 3D, it's sort of a top-down Legend of Zelda style movement game. Now, this actually can be played single player, where you can just switch back and forth between the characters, but it definitely shines in co-op, especially when you get to the boss battles, which I think are quite a bit easier if you got someone else to work alongside with you. But it has a really cool, strange sort of multiverse plot where these worlds are crashing into each other. Has a really fun sense of humor and a lot of really cool, very puzzly platforming for fans of that style genre. Superhot is hitting its lowest price ever, 55% off for $11.24. Now, I'm going to guess at this point, most people have heard of Superhot, but for the few people who haven't, this is a first-person shooter where the movement of the game is all tied to your own movement. So basically, every time you move, everyone else can move. So this creates some really unique scenarios where you can make everything sort of move in slow motion. You can grab weapons right out of guys' hands, bash them back with their own weapons. You can even do crazy stuff like pull bullets out of midair and throw them back at your opponents. It gets really wild, really crazy. I would say this one is best played in VR, but even on a TV, it is still a crazy fun experience. KO the Kangaroo, a well-good bundle, is hitting its lowest price ever, 45% off, bringing it down to $18.14. This includes KO the Kangaroo and its subsequent DLC packs, and it's only about 20 cents more than KO the Kangaroo by itself the last time it went on sale. So this definitely seems like the way to go. When this game first came out, it had some mixed reviews. There were some issues with it crashing and some save corruption issues. Seems like that has all been sorted out, and it seems like it runs really well now. If you're a fan of 90s platformers, you're going to be right at home with this one, and you should get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Soldiers is at its lowest price ever, 25% off for only $14.99. This is sort of a tragic story in the fact that this game really released, in my opinion, in a very bad state. It was really poorly balanced with the difficulty. It had absolutely terrible load times. But you could tell underneath it all, there was a potential top-tier Metroidvania, and I'm happy to say that after subsequent updates, it is now that top-tier Metroidvania experience. I really wouldn't trust the old reviews from the outlets. In fact, I think SwitchUp just uploaded another update video for this one, so you could check that one out if, again, you want to see a more updated viewpoint on it. But this game just has absolutely gorgeous artwork, some really sort of moderately Souls-like but super fantastic combat. And again, it has just a really amazing, gorgeous, big, open Metroidvania world for you to explore. Speaking of Metroidvanias, we also have the Night Witch from Team 17, which is hitting its lowest price ever, 20% off, bringing it down to $15.99. I know that's not a big sale, but this one has really caught my eye. It is a twin stick style shooter where basically you can fly around, but in this big Metroidvania style world, play as a witch. I just absolutely think the art style is just amazing looking in this one. The reviews overall are really solid. I know a couple people personally that actually said that this was one of their absolute favorite games of last year. So it's definitely been on my radar for quite a while. Not sure if I'm going to pick it up at 20% off, but I know at some point I am, and maybe this is the price point that you would consider picking it up. Another game that's been sitting on my wish list from last year is Ship of Fools. It is hitting its lowest price ever, 20% off, bringing it down to $11.99. This is a co-op roguelike where you are traveling on a ship to take on the evil sea creatures that live in your world. Sounds like it hits a lot of those great roguelike tropes with all kinds of cool permanent upgrades, all kinds of fun little secrets to find. This one can be played single player, but again, it is up to 2-player offline and online, and that seems to be the preferred way to play it. Ghost of a Tale is back on sale, matching its previous low for 50% off for only $12.49. This is a game that used to go on sale quite frequently, but lately it only has 1 to 2 sales a year. A really cool little stealth adventure game about a mouse who's been thrown into this fantasy prison run by rats. It's all about escaping this dungeon and finding out the fate of your true love. I gotta say, I'm a sucker for these type of games that let you play as little animals, so this one has been on my wish list for a long time. Haven't personally got to try it out, but I love what I see, and the reviews are very solid indeed. And finally, what I think is one of the biggest hidden gems of last year, we have Haiku the Robot, matching its previous low, 30% off for only $13.99. There's no beating around the bush. This is a game that is very obviously inspired by Hollow Knight. And I can tell you, after completing the whole game, it pretty much is Hollow Knight if you made Hollow Knight a bit easier and quite a bit shorter. And honestly, I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. I think Hollow Knight really maxes out a lot of people's abilities. But if you like that sort of cryptic style world building and a similar style of combat, but again, you want something that's just a little bit easier, I think that this one is going to really appeal to you. I love the main protagonist, has lots of cool upgrades. Again, it has a similar style system that the pins or badges or whatever you call them in Hollow Knight has, where you can choose which upgrades you want, and they have really cool ways of interacting with each other. Just a great, solid Metroidvania experience all around. All right, I hope you enjoyed these great eShop deals. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I hope you pick out something great to play, and until next time, I hope you have great gaming. Bye-bye.